Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I want to welcome you to today's training. We're going to be talking about going down this road a little bit more around consulting businesses. Yesterday, I did a training on the top 10 opportunities when it comes to starting and or adding a consulting revenue stream to your existing business. So, welcome. As you guys are coming in, just give me a shout out. Where are you today? My hope today is we won't take up too awful long, probably 30 minutes or so that we'll do the training and then we'll get everything moving. For some reason, my camera keeps wanting to go blurry on me. All right. You can never go live without some tech issue happening. It's just a part of the process, I do believe. If it's not bad internet, it's a blurry camera or it's something. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Like I say, as you're coming in, just give me a shout out. Let me quickly introduce myself. If you've never been on one of my shows before, I've been live streaming for a long time, years and years, it seems like now. But my name is Kim Garst. I've worn many hats in the online space. I've built about seven-figure businesses over the years. Been in the online space for about 30. Can you believe that? It just seems like a blip. But I am an authority creator, essentially, using my content to create authority and ultimately helping other people to do the same, monetizing their authority. So good morning, Paul. Good morning, Kandrut. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Romania is in the house. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so, and again, if you're new, I've never, to my knowledge, Kandrut, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. But if I'm not, I apologize. I've never met you, I don't think, before, so I want to welcome you. And if you are new, just put hashtag new. I'd love to connect with you later, that kind of thing. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what you actually have to have at a minimum to start a consulting business. Okay. I think a lot of times we think we have to jump through a lot of hoops. And that is definitely not true. It's way easier than you think, especially if you already have a business. If you have some sort of knowledge where you've been doing the things, but you haven't maybe monetized to the degree that you would like to. Sweden in the house. Camilla, good to see you. So glad you're here. And we have Lefterus. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Some unusual names this morning. So welcome, everybody. All right, I'm going to pull up my screen and we're just going to get with it. So again, going to talk about how to start a profitable consulting business. Now, I want to address this through the two lanes that I see as opportunities for people. One, if you already have a business and you just want to add another income stream, this is an absolute no-brainer. Seriously, it is a no-brainer. Because you can quickly turn a consulting business. If you are just starting a business, or you may have a business, but you don't, you've seen it decline. It's no longer serving you and your monetary goals or your life goals. Sometimes it's life goals. Then potentially a consulting business might be a great shift for you, because there are so many people looking for service providers these days and knowledge that they don't have. So I just want to ask real quick, and please, no judgment here. Is your business bringing in as much money as you want it to? Just yes or no. I mean, we always want more money, right? Even if you have a highly successful business. I've done work with literally seven-figure business owners before, and they'll come to me and they'll say, whatever the service is, like we were doing some clear messaging for a seven-figure business owner not long ago, and one of the very first questions we always ask is, what is the goal set? What do you want from this? And the answer was more. So that's always our answer, right? Like we always want more. Absolutely. But I want you to look at it through the lens too of where your business is financially right now. And are you running 50 ways to Sunday? Do you like where you are in your business? Is there a better way? So just kind of keep that in mind as we go forward today. But what is a consultant? Like a lot of times I feel like there is people who don't yeah, sounds cool. I'd like to do that, but I'm not sure I understand what it is. So a consultant is someone who shares what they know, their expert knowledge. And sometimes, interestingly enough, you don't always have to have the knowledge. You just have to have the process to sell it. So I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. But expert knowledge, which is sometimes strategy based or and sometimes services you serve a specific niche. So if you are a doctor and your thing is solving people's back pain, then you can become a consultant. Or if you are in the online space, if you are a Facebook ads expert, then you can consult with all kinds of businesses, but you could niche down to just working with real estate agents as an example. So, and I do recommend as you evolve your business as a consultant that you or out the gate, you really focus in on a specific transformation or niche, which again, I'm going to talk about in more detail in just a second. That's what a consultant is, and you get paid for that. Yes, people will pay you for your know-how, your knowledge to help them get results. Okay. One quick thing, as you guys, I know as you were coming in, if you know somebody who would one, like more revenue in their business, or two, that would like a business, doesn't have one potentially, then please invite them, tag them, sprinkle this out into the world. Let's share this with as many people as we can, because I really feel like there's such a huge shift happening in the online space. And I think the opportunity is probably richer as a consultant than it has ever been. So feel free to invite some folks in. We'd love to have them. Okay. So the very first thing you need to decide is, what is your business model going to be? So when I say business model, it's what type of consultant are you going to be? Are you going to be in fact, let me just share real quick. Yesterday, I did a training, and if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, wherever you are, there is, the yesterday's training will be there. You might have to just scroll down in my feed just a minute just to find it. Like it's just right there. But I did a top 10 profitable online consulting business ideas and opportunities in 2022. So if you don't quite know, like, what kind of business could you start? Some of you may be like, yeah, I have an expertise in this, or I have an expertise in that. And it makes sense to be, whatever you are. Like, I'm an SEO expert, I can consult on that. If that's you, then, it's an easy thing. But if you're unsure, you might circle back. And I would also encourage you maybe to circle back to that training, just because I feel like I did a lot of research on investment cost and amount of money that you can make and that kind of thing with those 10 ideas. So it could be a real amazing piece of content for you if you're, looking. Even if you think you know what you are doing, it might give you some ideas, is what I'm saying. And I also want to really stress this. I see a lot of people who build businesses, and I'm not knocking this, please, because I've done it. You build a business that doesn't serve you ultimately. It ends up consuming your life. So if you're just starting and you're thinking about this through the lens of, I'm going to add additional income stream, or I'm going to build a new model, I want you to consider what your life is going to look like. So one of the things I talked about in yesterday's training was some types of consultants, their space is constantly evolving. It's just like SEO, for example, or paid ads. Facebook ads in particular is like, oh my gosh, like every day something changes in the platform. So those types of businesses, even though they can be very profitable, can also suck the life out of you. So if you are a mom and you're trying to manage the littles, you have to keep this in mind. What's the business model going to look like for you so that you can have a life? And I think that's super important. Or even if you're a dad and you want to be able to pick the kids up from school, or you want to be able to play, practice baseball in the yard of the evenings, what is that going to look like? I think you really need to consider this as you're trying to decide what business model or what consulting model makes the most sense for you. So let's talk about some of the models. So when I first started, and I'll share I've built 2 6-figure agencies in the past. But I started out as a solo, and then I transitioned into an agency model. Currently, I have my 3rd agency, and I call it a boutique agency because it is something that we do kind of like just for who we would want to do it for. We don't really actively try to keep our workload full because we're looking for specific people to do specific things. And I basically reach out to people that I would like to work with. So it's not quite the same. So I think we fall into more of a hybrid model. But let me go through each of these and share what they would look like. And in the context of your life. Okay. So a solo consultant is usually where most people start. They start with, hey, here's my shingle. This is what I do. And, you ultimately go out and try to get your first client and consistently stay on top of the workload. This is hard to maintain a life. I will say that as your business grows, you will have to, there's only so much time to trade for money. So in order to scale, you will either have to replicate yourself, meaning you're going to have to hire team members, or you're going to have to raise your prices. So either way, or the other option is productizing your knowledge. And I'm going to dig into that just a little bit more in a second. So that's, again, usually people start at that solo level. And then the next piece is that agency. If you get super busy, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to hire somebody to help me. I need a VA, or I need whatever, that's usually the next step in the evolution of your business. Third is usually what most people don't jump, in other words, is what I'm saying. A lot of times they will start solo. They get to a place where they are just, up to their eyeballs in work. They can't do it all. There's no light anymore. They're like, I got to hire somebody. And then that starts to build out. And then what normally happens is what's called productized consulting, which is a combination of, work, aka consulting, and some sort of a productized knowledge base. So it could be a course, for example. The first person that comes to mind right offhand would be Donald Miller. Technically, I have a productized consulting model too, but I'll use Donald Miller as a quick example. He has a course for his story brand, and he also has a book, but the course piece is really what I wanted to focus on. So someone could come to him and they could go through the course and potentially get an outcome, right? That's what the training is for. Or you can come to a in-person workshop and you have some private or some consulting, some direct access, or you can also hire him and his team for private consulting. So it's more of a combination of a couple of different lanes. But there is a course, there's a product that people can consume his knowledge base through that course. And then the hybrid model is a combination usually of some of the three. Now it doesn't, some of the three above. You don't have to have all of these in a hybrid model. Usually, like for example, if you have an agency and a productized consulting model as kind of slammed together, where you do have a course to support your knowledge base, you could have a team from an agency perspective that could be a part of the consulting process. So sometimes it evolves and it has to evolve in order for you to scale to bigger heights. But this is kind of the process of how you can really get to huge dollars. I mean, millions of dollars with a consulting business model, or even adding this as a business, as a revenue stream to your existing business. So the next thing is you have to have an ideal customer. Now, a lot of people teach the ideal customer, who is it? Like, what does she look like? Or what does he look? How old are they? Where do they shop? And I look at this a little bit differently. So I'm going to say this, because I feel like we have been, I'm not saying who your ideal person isn't important. It absolutely is. But I feel like it spits out on the other side of another equation. Okay. So I have got to a place where I feel like if you get super clear on your transformation, what it is that you do for someone, then they self-select in. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, well, let me explain what that looks like. And this is so intricately tied to our messaging. And I'm going to talk more about that in a moment too. So bear with me. But let me give you a quick example. If I have back pain and I'm like, I'm looking for somebody that can help me. I'm looking for some therapy, right? I go and I type it into the Google machine and I find this website that their headline says Active Fit Physiotherapy. And I'm like, okay, physiotherapy, like what is that? Active Fit? Am I active? Like maybe I'm not active. Like, I'm pretty sedentary, whatever. Right. Like, so in 3 seconds, I'm like, I don't even know if I need that. Right. So I go to the next page down and it says back pain specialist. I'm like, perfect. I've got back pain. I need a specialist. This is my person. So see the difference? Like if you are super clear about, in 3 seconds or less, what you do for your person, then your person is going to self-select in. And I think your person will evolve. There's common characteristics in your person. So I believe your person actually comes out on the other side of it. So I think that is, I've seen this happen. Like, and just think about it. Like if you go search for a solution to a problem that you have, like, think about it. Like what attracts you to the solution? It's probably because they're super clear that they can help you. If you are super clear on how you help someone and the transformation that you offer, then they're like, yes, this person is for me. Let me check them out a little bit more. So I want to ask you, do you think that your messaging attracts your ideal client in 3 seconds or less on your authority page? What I find that is interesting is, and one of the things that we are going to be teaching to our authority creator consultants is that the authority pages are super powerful and you literally have to have clear messaging and somebody has to know how you help them in 3 seconds. It's not about us. Nobody cares about where we went to school. Nobody cares about like all the things. They want to know how you're going to help them. And if your messaging is not clear in that short window of time, then you've lost them. So And again, going back to, I think you need to understand that that's a small window of time. And if you get super clear on that, then your person is going to self-select in, and they probably will be who you think they are, but they may not be, interestingly enough. So when you are niche specific, it's very easy. You're just like, the pond is not crowded. It's very easy for your person to figure out that you are for them. Or like there's a generalist, and I'll share this real quick with you guys too. When I first started in social media and started doing social media for others, I thought I needed to be a generalist. I'm like, I'm going to do, management for all these businesses, I need to be on all the platforms. I need to know all the platforms. I need to know all the things. So I never really branded myself as an expert to one platform. And because of that, I missed out on a lot of opportunities for, with specific types of clients, and more importantly, specific types of speaking opportunities. Because, when someone's, looking for a speaker that knows how to, sell high ticket things on Instagram, or, whatever they're looking for, then they're going to look for an Instagram expert. So being a generalist can be super, a lot of people try to do it because they're like, well, everybody's my client. If you try to serve everybody, you serve no one. And I'm sure you've heard that before, but this is super powerful in the context of how people choose to do business with you today. If you can tell them in 3 seconds or less that you can help them and how you can help them, perfect. If you can't, you've lost half the battle right there, maybe the entire battle. Because most people don't go deeper than, hey, can this person help me? No, they can't. Moving on. So the next thing that I think you need when it comes to starting a consulting business, you still have to have content. Consistent messaging goes back to the consistent messaging, because once you get clear on what you do for people, then that rolls into all of your content. And then when you actually post on social media, lean in. When you post on social media, then you're talking about the problems that people have. They're like, oh my gosh, this person gets me. Are they reading my mind? Then social media actually starts to work for you instead of not working for you. Because I see so many people like just, I did it. So it's hard for me to like criticize, and I'm not really criticizing. I'm just trying to point out that there's a better way. It is, I see so many people not knowing what to post every day. They don't know what's going to attract their person to them. So getting clarity on your messaging rolls into your content, y'all. And it is such a magical thing when you don't have to stress over what you're going to ultimately share or create. I want you to, and I'm going to challenge you to do this. So, and I would love it if you would commit to this. So tell me if after I share this, if you are willing to try this. Okay. So I want you to write down 10 problems that you think your ideal person has. Just sit down, free think it. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just write it on a piece of paper, type it out on a Google Doc, wherever, however makes the most sense for you. What are the 10 problems, top 10 problems? Now, if you don't know what those are, one of the things that I suggest is like, what are the questions that you get frequently? Or, go to the Google machine and type in questions around your area of expertise. But if you've been in business for any length of time, you probably know what the problems that your person has. Then you write down, okay, if I have these 10 problems, then what are the 10 actions that you can take to solve those problems? So if problem 1 is whatever, and there's 3 ways that you would solve that problem, just jot them out to the side. Same for the second problem, jot it out to the side. What are the 3 solutions? Now you have literally, 10 different types of problem solution pieces of content that you can create. And I would love it. Tell me if you will do this today. you will be able to create amazing content that's going to ultimately attract your person. And this is going to be valuable to you, by the way, regardless of what business model you have. This is kind of a standard thing I think that we all need to be doing. All right. So the next component that is absolutely necessary, and this is where I see so many people struggling, is create and price your consulting offer. Okay. So offers a lot of people think that offers are not what they are. Let me give you an example. Let's say that, I have a weight loss product. This is one of my favorite examples. Let's say I have a weight loss product, and I see competitors on Amazon that are selling my same exact product for $30 cheaper than what I want to sell mine for. So I'm like, well, how am I going to compete with that? So this is how you create an offer instead of selling a product or a service. Okay. And this is super powerful. And I hope you will listen to this, because an offer is something that gives your person more value than just the product or service that you're offering. So going back to the weight loss product, if I want to sell my my weight loss product that's being sold on Amazon for $29.97, I have to add value in the mind of my buyer to my product in order for them to say, I'm going to buy yours versus the one on Amazon. So how do I do that? You add value to your product or your service by surrounding it with other things that are have a perceived value. So I might add a weight loss calculator or a series of recipes that would give additional value to my buyer. I might have some sort of a physical product that kind of goes along with it. Anything that gives additional value, that's what an offer is. An offer is different than just selling a product or service. So you have to create that, price it, and again, it goes back to people are. It's almost like I use when I teach my PDF to Profit, which is teaching people how to create an offer. I basically use a food analogy. So your primary thing, whatever it is, in this particular case, it's your consulting knowledge, is the main course. And your sides are other things, like, what other things are going to give them value. It could be some sort of a worksheet or a checklist or, whatever. And the dessert is kind of like a bonus. What is that like no-brainer thing that's going to get them to say yes to your offer? So creating and pricing out your consulting offer is critical. It's not just like saying, I'm going to do this for you for this price. It's literally thinking about it through a bigger lens and, really addressing some of the core things that people are going to want in order to pay whatever price that you want to charge them. So I want you to think about this too. Why do you pay for a product or service? So think about this through just literally going to buy something on the Google machine. So like Christmas, for example, you go, your son, daughter wants a new pair of rollerblades. So you go, you Google it. You're like, okay, here's a website that's got great pricing and, oh, they've got free shipping. So I'm buying from here. So see that free shipping. Maybe they have some other things like, they might say, well, we'll give you one a handheld sharpener or, whatever. There's other things that might go with that thing that will entice you to buy from them versus someone else. Those are the types of things you want to think about when you're trying to create your offer. All right. The biggest reason I know I've given you product examples, but the real reason that we buy and think about it and the way other people buy is because they're looking for that result. People don't buy the thing They buy because they want the outcome. They want the transformation that you're offering. So whatever that is. So, if I am looking to lose weight, I might buy a weight loss program, or I might hire a consultant to help me lose weight. Why do I want that? Yeah, sure, I want to lose weight. I get that, right? That's just a given. But why do I want it? Maybe I want to get into the bikini before we go on a cruise, or, why is that? Like, why? You really have to focus in on that, because that's a part of the messaging, which is one of the reasons that people will say yes or no to your offer. Let's talk about pricing real quick. There's all kinds of pricing models when it comes to being a consultant. You could charge an hourly rate. You can charge a daily rate. You can charge a monthly retainer. You can charge project-based rates, which are usually calculated on time. I am a huge fan of value-based pricing or project-based pricing. One, because usually the amount of revenue associated with that is way more. And if you just charge an hourly rate, I've seen people do consulting all the way down to, $25 an hour. You could pour tons of hours into working with someone and come out on the other side with very little revenue. Whereas if you charged a value-based price, that is usually a way higher value, a way higher price point. And it's usually based around an ROI, meaning if you can help people make money, for example, or impact their money, value-based pricing is super powerful. So if you're a Facebook ads person, as a quick example, you're selling a value based on a return, the potential of return. So, if you can run someone's ads and, you've charged them $3,000 and they make $12,000, then they 4x'd their revenue, their outlay, their expenditure toward the outcome that they wanted. So value-based pricing is super powerful. And I'm personally of the opinion that we shouldn't do hourly, even daily. Monthly retainers, there's a place for that. Project-based for sure. Value-based are my three top ones. I would ditch the other two, just my 2 cents. Okay. So the next thing you got to have, and this is where most people fail when it comes to service-based businesses, they don't have a consistent way to generate leads. They don't have a sales process. They don't have a way to do it either paid or free, meaning using social media, having some sort of an attraction model to where they're getting their clients in consistently. What usually happens with consulting businesses is it's feast or famine. They'll have a run of folks that come through and they, work with those people. While they're working with those people, this is what, again, a problem. They are so focused on the person and trying to deliver the best quality outcome that they can, that they forget to see their own business. So when I used to have a social media apprenticeship program where I taught social media managers to run their own businesses. And this is a perfect example of this. So they would get their first 3 or 4 clients. And I would say to them, I said, the first thing you do when you get up every morning is you see to your own business first. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, you have to have a growth strategy. You have to have content every day. You have to see to your own business before you start working on your clients' businesses. And that was the hardest thing for people to understand, 1, and 2, to do. In fact, they didn't do it consistently. And my point was that if somebody is looking to hire you to do their social media management, they're going to go look at your presence. And if your presence has, 13 Twitter followers and there's been no posts forever, or they're looking at your Instagram and you have, 100 Instagram followers and you haven't, posted any recent content in months, that's a signal. You have to have consistency in your own business, and you have to have a sales system in place. One of the things we teach in the Authority Builder or Authority Creator program is a selling system, a social selling system, so that there's a lead generation always in your day-to-day process. In fact, I just like the question, does your business have a way to get new dreamy clients every day? And there's a very specific word in this, dreamy clients. Do you have a process to attract dreamy clients? We can all get the crappy clients. In fact, there's probably, if you have a service-based business already, you probably have some crappy clients, some people that you need to get rid of, right? But attracting the right people to you makes such a difference. And so, again, that's one of the things that we're really focused on is how do you attract those people to you consistently? And this is the worst part. And I'm one of those people, I hate to be a negative Nelly. In fact, that is so not me, but I'm just going to point out a problem. Most business owners are super focused on shiny objects. They're spending way too much time every day doing the things that don't create revenue in their business. And if you agree with me, say amen. You feel like every day you get up and you're doing all the things, you get to the end of the day and you have done nothing that is going to generate revenue in your business or additional revenue. Do not feel lonely. You are not alone. Heck, fire, I've even done it. I mean, we all do it at certain points in our business. But you have to have a plan to get those new clients in place. If you don't, you're going to die on the vine. And that is not acceptable to me. So you have to have a plan, every day. What is it? You're going to outreach. Tuesday, you're going to follow up. You're going to do some outreach, some more outreach. You're going to Wednesday, follow up, more outreach, follow up, more outreach on Thursday. And you create content on Friday, so you have to have a plan. Do you have a plan? If you don't, you're going to need one for a consulting business. And I would argue this is true for any type of business, whether it's a sales model, meaning you're trying to sell a physical product, or a coaching, whether anything really, you have to have a way to do that. And then I think the very last thing, almost, I guess this is next to last thing that I think you need to be successful when it comes to any type of service related business is you need some systems in place. Now, I will tell you guys transparently and very openly, I tell people this all the time. I have built seven-figure businesses over my 30 years of online, being in the online space, and several six-figure businesses. Until the business that I'm in right now, I never had a system. So you can so totally build a thriving business with no systems. But I'm going to tell you, you do not want to. Having seen the difference between the way I used to build businesses and doing it by the seat of my pants, and how much harder that was because I didn't have systems in place. I'm just here to tell you, you do not want to be a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person, because the other side of the fence is so much greener. When you have a process, when you have a system, you don't have to do everything. All of a sudden, the structure of your business shifts. And you can do some amazing, amazing things. You can scale to greater heights. You can see what's working, what's not working. The systems are ultimately really what drives a successful business. I'm a firm believer in having seen both sides of this. It is super, super important to have some systems in place. And, sometimes you don't know what that looks like, right? You don't know what that looks like on the front side of your business. One of the things when you invest in, I call them businesses in the box, a structured process that people have developed prior to you. In fact, they've done the work in advance, and they're giving those things to you so that you can run faster. Those are things that are usually incorporated, and they're invaluable to you. So if you're trying to figure it out on your own, systems can really be a bear, especially if you're a creative. That was one of my struggles is I really struggled to set down and slow down in order to focus on, okay, what does that, okay, blog process, what does that look like? Or, whatever it was. But having had no systems and having seen the flip side to that and having a process for things, just night and day, and makes your life so much easier. So just throwing that out there, lesson learned from experience over and over again, I will say. And I guess the last thing, I think anybody can start a business at any point in time and they can fumble along. They can figure it out on their own. They can figure out, okay, what's, going back through all the things I just talked about, they can figure out who their person is. They can figure out what they're going to be selling. They can figure out the offer. They can, build their systems. They can technically, anybody can do the things on their own, but it's darn hard, y'all. I mean, it is hard to do the things on your own. If you can get somebody that has a process, has a model, if you will, that is already predefined for you, you are going to run so much faster. Your business is going to thrive. Your additional income stream is going to just explode out the gate, versus trying to do all the things yourself. I've my first business. It took me 5 years to make my first $60. Ouch, right? So if you feel that you've been struggling, like you're not where you want to be, trust me, I've so been in your shoes. And now when I know that I want to do something different, something new, I want to learn something, whatever, I find somebody who's doing it and is teaching it, and I learn from them. So I highly recommend that you find somebody that's doing that. We are getting ready to release what I believe is the next opportunity, because the creator economy is absolutely rolling and thriving, and it's not going away. But nobody's really serving this space. You see Facebook ads consultants, you see SEO consultants, you see, bookkeeping consultants or fitness consultants. But the authority creator consultant is a brand new thing, and so needed. And having a business in a box, again, like if you didn't have to figure out all the components, but you could go sell these services. If you didn't have to figure out all your systems, but you could have those in place. If you didn't have to figure out how you sold your stuff, like how I don't have a sales system in place. If somebody was to deliver that, incorporate it into a program so that you don't have to struggle, that you can just go create the revenue. If you're interested, we still have the wait list for a few more days. We're going to be doing a private training for those on the wait list this coming Monday, so the 22nd. But grab a spot on the wait list, because this might be your next best opportunity. I'm not saying that I won't make that decision for you, but definitely grab a spot, tune in, see if it makes sense, because consulting, I believe, is going to be a huge opportunity in the near future. Things that used to work just aren't working as well. It's not to say online courses are going away. Absolutely not. Some of the other things that, have traditionally worked, are they going away? No, not in their entirety. But I feel like people are of need of direct knowledge from an expert, and they absolutely need services done. Because think about it, like how many of you have been held back in your business because, one, you didn't know how to do something, two, you didn't know who to hire to fix the problem for you, or you didn't have enough time to figure out how to do it yourself. You just like, I don't know how to do that myself, so therefore it doesn't get done. There's a need, absolute need, for you to share what you know, to do services for folks. And like I say, from a biz op perspective, there's a whole new space that I'm literally creating, because I feel like there's a vacuum. Anytime there's a gap in the marketplace, there is opportunity there. So, goes back to that fish. You remember the fish in the bowl that's, all by itself? you have to have a market that isn't saturated as well. And I think a lot of the other consulting marketplaces are kind of saturated. So being an authority creator consultant, you could be one of the first, and it would ultimately give you a huge leg up. So I don't think I saw any questions come through yet that we didn't get answered. But if you have any questions, feel free to, you can drop them in right where you are. If you're on LinkedIn, you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, you're in the Facebook group, wherever you are, don't hesitate to ask questions. You can also send me a message on Instagram. My username over there is Kim Garst. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. But long term, my hope for you is that you consider adding or creating a whole new business around being a consultant of some sort, because it just is an amazing opportunity in the time frame of where we are in the online space. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves and stay safe.